I'm the creator and host of the TV show Buzz that airs on Wednesday nights on Blue Ridge PBS, where we feature the great work that nonprofit organizations do and the marketing professionals affiliated with the American Advertising Federation of Roanoke who donate their time and talent to help nonprofits achieve more buzz. And earlier this year, we started a new venture called Buzz Live, where in front of a live studio audience such as yourselves, we interview some of the inspiring people who serve and are served by nonprofits. And we also have a musical guest affiliated with the nonprofit. And tonight's show is our very first Buzz Live on the road. We are here in Blacksburg, Virginia at the Church on Main, which we very much appreciate hosting us here tonight. And we are here celebrating and honoring a nonprofit that based in Blacksburg, but literally providing hope for people around the world. So let's please give it up for Hope to Walk. All right. Now, whether you are here in person or joining us on our live stream on Facebook or YouTube, over the next hour, you will learn about this incredible nonprofit that for the last 10 years has literally been providing no-cost prosthetic legs to thousands of people, primarily in underserved Central American countries. Now, in May, Hope to Walk embarks on perhaps its most ambitious mission yet, when it seeks to go to Ukraine and outfit some of the 100,000 amputees who have lost a leg due to the Russian war. So throughout tonight's show, you can click on this QR code that's both here as well as on our online audience. You can click on that or go to hopetowalk.org. There's also a link in the comments section on our social media channels where you can make a donation. Hope to Walk is trying to raise $15,000 to fund this trip. So far, they're about at $1,500. Make that $1,600. I'm getting very high-tech updates here with the marker board from the front row. $1,600. So I would love for us to get close to that $15,000 goal by the end of tonight. So please make a donation whether you are here in person or tuning into our live stream. And to get a sense of the scope of the mission that Hope to Walk is facing in Ukraine, I want to start off tonight's show with a Reuters newsreel that's now about 2 years old, but still really exemplifies the suffering that is happening in Ukraine and the need for prosthetics. So let's please watch.
Ukrainian serviceman Dmytro Zilko's prosthetic limb has given him a new lease of life. His right leg was amputated after a shell landed nearby during fighting in the eastern town of Bakhmut.
I am very happy. As soon as I stood on my prosthetic leg, I felt alive. I was laying down for 4 months. My left leg was broken too. One of the muscles is still torn.
Zilko is just one of many wounded soldiers at this clinic for artificial limbs in Kyiv. So many, in fact, that there is a shortage of prosthetists. Demand has skyrocketed. This particular site would need 4 times the number of specialists to cope comfortably. Andriy Ovcharenko is the head of the Without Limits clinic.
There really is a shortage of prosthetists because there are a huge number of people requiring prosthetic treatment coming in every day. If there is a counteroffensive, the frontline battles will be even more severe. The number of patients will increase. I think it would be great to have more prosthetists, even those from abroad. We will provide everyone with prosthetic limbs, but some may have to wait in a line for some time.
The clinic serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of Russia's war in Ukraine. Those who come here have largely been maimed by shrapnel caused by Russia's unrelenting artillery fire on the front line and its frequent use of missiles across the country. Without Limits, one of around 80 prosthetic centres in Ukraine, made about 7,000 prosthetic components in the second half of last year, equal to the total produced in 2021. But it's still not enough. The number of patients has also tripled. Ukraine's health minister says specialists at clinics like this one are simply overloaded. On a recent morning, the clinic assessed 2 soldiers for artificial legs and adjusted the new limb of a third. A handful more came for rehabilitation. Dennis lost his left leg to a Russian missile in Kramatorsk.
My close ones and my girlfriend don't let my spirit fade, and my will to live.
He plans to return to civilian life once he's recuperated. But despite the trauma of losing a limb and the possible wait for prosthetics, Ovcharenko says many amputee soldiers still volunteer to return to the war after treatment. Prosthetics charity Protez Hub says Ukraine has around 300 prosthetists, technicians and apprentices, but only 5 can fit functional devices like hands and arms. Artificial limbs like elbows are in particular demand, they say, with some having to wait up to 6 months to be fitted, and at least 100 patients were treated overseas. Experts say Ukraine will need big investment in infrastructure and staff to deal with amputees needing help for years to come.
All right, well, you have now seen the need that is happening in Ukraine. Let's now meet the people who are trying to meet that need, and we start off with Hope to Walk founder, Phil Johnson. All right, let's grab a seat.
Thank you.
All right. So, Phil, we're going to get to the history of Hope to Walk here momentarily, but I want to start off by asking you, for someone who, you're coming up with, you're trying to meet and talk to about wanting to support this mission, what do you tell them about Hope to Walk and what you're trying to do in Ukraine?
The need is huge. As you see, they estimate over 100,000 people have lost their limbs. They estimate that half of those are children. And so the need is huge. Hope to Walk has developed a prosthetic leg that we can fit the same day. We sometimes in our clinic in Guatemala will fit 5 or 6 legs in one day. And so I think that together with the people in Ukraine and the prosthetists that are there, we could initiate this project and make it easier, and they would be able to provide more legs. And it's very cost effective also.
Wow. All right, well, I want to get to all of that you just covered over the course of our time here together. But let's rewind in time. So Hope to Walk was founded about 10 years ago. What led to it? What was your first inspiration with this?
Well, I had a young boy come into my clinic as a patient, and we started talking
in your clinic here in Blacksburg?
In Blacksburg.
Okay.
He was from Virginia Tech. He was actually a medical student at VCOM. We started talking about mission work. We started talking about prosthetics, and I had done prosthetics 10 years prior to that in Guatemala. So I started telling him about it, and we ended up with VCOM reaching out to us and asking if we would like to go on a trip with them. And so we went to Honduras, saw the need, and that's what kind of started the project again. And since then we have developed and redeveloped the leg and the parts, and it's working really well.
Yeah. So later on in the show, we'll talk about specifically about
Sure.
this amazing device that you have kind of helped create. But going back to, again, the need, I think it's obvious to probably everyone here who has, seen somebody with a prosthetic leg, what was lost, when they lost their leg. But so there are certain obvious things, but like, what are some of the perhaps not so obvious traumas that someone who has lost a leg is experiencing?
Well, when you lose a part of your body, naturally that's the trauma of that is terrible. In third world countries and impoverished countries that we work in, one of the biggest problems is they know from the time that they go in for their amputation that they're probably not going to get a leg. And so, if your reality is to have your leg amputated and you don't believe that there's a possibility of ever walking again, you can just imagine what that would possibly feel like.
Yeah. And why is that? I mean, here we take it for granted, I think, that we will have a prosthetic limb.
Right.
Why is that not taken for granted in the countries that you're serving?
Because of cost. Most of the people are very poor. The average commercial type prosthetic leg starts at about $10,000, which would be impossible for someone who, makes $50 a week.
Well, it's impossible for a lot of people here as well,
Exactly.
But there are some social services, there's Medicare, health insurance that help cover that cost.
Right, and there is nothing there. And so you either have to, I've literally seen people sell their farms to buy a prosthetic for one of their, one of the family members that's lost a leg. So again, the cost of prosthetics in the U.S. is very expensive, and this is the solution to that.
Great. Do you have a favorite story so far of someone that you have served throughout Hope to Walk's mission?
I do, and it's recent. There's been 10 years of amazing stories. I have a story of a woman who was 80 plus years old, and she prayed afterwards, and it was the most amazing prayer I've ever seen. But in a few minutes, I think we're doing a video. You'll see a video of a young boy. We were in clinic one day, and we had finished all of our work, and we had already closed up, and we're sweeping the floor and getting ready to leave the clinic. And I walk out, and I see this little boy scooting along on his knees with his father's shoes turned around backwards. So I went back in the clinic, and I said, did we have another patient on the list? And they said, no. And so we walk out there, and come to find out they had just heard about us and came with hopes that we would help. And I said, well, turn the lights back on. And we ended up making him legs. And at 13 years old, he stood up and walked across our clinic for the first time ever in his life.
Wow.
And so it touches my heart to know that, that our organization and myself was able to change this child's life.
Well, and how did it change? Obviously able to walk, but I mean, have you been able to follow up with this young man to then see just what a transformative thing that having legs has done for him?
In an impoverished country, someone that's lost their leg, especially a child, they almost become a handicap just automatically. They're lesser class. And this little boy, we put legs on him, and the mother sent us a video about 3 or 4 months later of him coming in from school after playing soccer. He's on a soccer team, comes running in, and he's pulling all of his gear off, and he's wanting dinner. And in the video, it's kind of hectic in his house, and you can see this boy has a life now. He's a child.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I believe we do have that video of him getting his legs. And Rob, let's play it if we could, please.
Yeah, this is amazing. This young man was born without legs, and he's been crawling around on his knees. And today we're going to build him some legs, and hopefully he's going to stand up and walk for us today. That makes me feel great. This is why I do what I do. It's not for anything other than this young man today. Imagine we come into clinic today to give our services away, and this young man is going to walk out of here for the first time ever in his life. And the ability to change not only his life, but his family's life. And that's a blessing beyond anything you could ever ask for. Young boy came to us without legs. He came to us without shoes and feet. So we went out and got him a pair of new shoes to go with his new legs. There's two. Oh, nice. This is his first time ever walking, and this is just a miracle. Let's come around, and here he comes.
Gracias, muy amable. Ustedes solamente mi palabra. Gracias.
Wow. Yeah. You are welcome to leave if you need to go grab some Kleenex upstairs. That is perfectly fine throughout the show. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Well, I know that you don't do all of this alone. And here, once again, for those just tuning in, we're here with Phil Johnson, the founder of Hope to Walk, as they prepare to go to Ukraine in May. They're trying to raise $15,000 to be able to go on that trip and provide legs, prosthetic legs to some of the 100,000 amputees who have suffered loss because of the Russian invasion. We are now up to $1,900, so please go to hopetowalk.org, check out the QR code, and make a donation so they can go on this trip. You don't do this alone. You do have an assistant. You want to introduce your assistant? Let's get him on stage.
Yes. Max, we call him Max Faublas. Faublas is his last name.
All right, Max Faublas, get on up here. Welcome. Yes, please. All right, yeah. We could talk about the teddy bear later on at this, all right? But yeah, you just hold him for right now.
Yeah.
Max, thank you so much for being here. Now, share with us how you first got involved with Hope to Walk.
Well, I started traveling. I left my country. I'm from Haiti.
Haiti.
First of all. So I left my country 10 years ago, and I started backpacking around the world for about 7 years. And I was helping projects, from reforestation projects to permaculture, anything that had to do with something positive. And 2 years ago, I was walking across Spain on a 635-mile journey, walking. And I heard about Hope to Walk. I just found it online and looked for information and ended up booking a flight to go straight to Guatemala after.
Wow.
And I met Phil. We connected very well. And what connected me deeply to that mission is one of my best friends lost the capacity of walking, not due to amputation, but due to a disease. But it definitely touched me to see it for the first time, someone walking after 12 years. So I was very touched, and here I am today, building legs.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So you've been working now for 2 years with him. You also do some of the videography work for Hope to Walk, I believe, and we're going to show some of that here in a moment. Let's look ahead, though, to the Ukraine trip. Are there some unique challenges in preparing for a trip to Ukraine that perhaps has, just been different from the other countries that you have served?
What I can say is different. I have been probably to 4 different trips, international trips with Hope to Walk, but this time is just it's a war zone.
Yeah.
So now our security, I think, is the priority. So we're looking at the situation and assessing and developing strategies also. If ever something happens before the dates, we're ready to be flexible, but it's definitely a need that we want to be able to help.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some of the partner agencies that are helping you navigate that dangerous space, right? Because, like you said, typically or historically so far, you've been working in more Central American countries where the need for a prosthetic leg has come from, I believe you've mentioned diabetes, motorcycle wrecks. So many people motor around those streets, in between cars, on motorcycles or mopeds, and end up having accidents that result in loss of legs. So, but this is the first time that you're really seeing the effects of war on a society and on amputations. So, yeah.
Also, we served in Vietnam. So in Vietnam also, it was a lot of post-war traumas. So there was a lot of amputees that received a leg after maybe 15 years after being cut. So,
Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, Rob, let's show the video of Max kind of getting his some experiences he's had with Hope to Walk.
Why do I do what I do? It's not just about building prosthetic legs. It's about building hope, about giving someone the chance to stand, to move, to fully live again. But it's more than that. It's the purpose behind it. The feeling of truly being present for someone in one of the most important moments in their life. It's in their first step the laughter through tears, and the joy that fills the whole room. And when their fear turns into freedom, this work reminds me every single day to be grateful. Grateful for this moment, grateful for this life, and also for the chance to give without expecting anything in return. Because love, real love, is unconditional. And when you truly give, when you give it freely, you get something even greater back. A sense of purpose, of connection, and peace. That's why I do what I do. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Nice. Well done. Well done. All right, let's talk about these devices.
Okay.
All right. So here we have an example of a Hope to Walk prosthetic leg. What makes this doesn't look like any that I've seen in use in the United States. So
Right.
how are they different and how are they similar?
One of the problems is people traveling distance to get a prosthetic leg. A lot of people have no money, and so they'll come, they have to stay overnight. In the real world, in the US, if someone came in my practice today, we would cast them, we would have them come back in 2 weeks for a pre-fitting, we would have them come back 2 weeks after that for their temporary leg, and then they would get their permanent leg, they would go to physical therapy. There's none of that available.
You need one and done there.
One and done.
Yeah.
And so some of the problems that we had were right and left feet, sizes of feet. And so one of the things about the Hope to Walk leg is our foot is one size fits all. I can lay this down on a tracing of your foot and trim the foot to a right or a left. I can make it one size. I can bring this from a men's size 10 down to a woman's size 6.
Okay.
And the leg is built directly to the patient. So we do the casting while they're there. We take that cast into the back, we set it up, we attach the coupler that's 3D printed, we put the pile on, and then we align the foot, stand the patient, and once we have the alignments done, we'll wrap it in fiberglass, put the strap on, and the patient's done. So our record is 45 minutes from start to finish. Wow. A patient walked in without a leg, 45 minutes later they're walking across the room. And so it speeds the process up, and it gives us the ability to put the leg on immediately, and then the patient goes home.
Wow. And how much does this cost you in turn? How much do you need to raise for every one of these?
These come in kit form, so our leg is in the form of a kit, and that kit is $250.
Okay.
And along with that helps us provide the leg and the componentry that we need. Some of the travel, things like that, are a little bit of that is involved in the cost of the leg. But the beauty of the leg, a commercial leg, the least expensive you can do is probably $1,200 to $1,500 just in componentry. To build the insurance, $10,000 is one of the cheapest legs, and this is $250.
Outstanding. Outstanding. When these legs obviously aren't meant to last someone their entire life, especially if a
Right.
child, they're growing, they're needing a larger leg. How do you kind of help maintain that throughout, a child's life or even an adult's life?
Most adults will get 1.5 to 2 years out of a leg. We have a young boy who's works on a garbage truck with one and jumps up and down, and he destroys probably 4 or 5 a year. But one of the problems with children, especially in Ukraine, if you look at 100,000 people have been amputated because of the war, and they're estimating possibly 50% of those are children. And so the children are going to be the last to get legs because there's so much involved. You put a leg on now, 6 months from now they need another one, 6 months now they need another one, and the cost becomes so much that children are the last to get legs. And so that's one of the things that we do, is I can build, in the clinic the other day, we were just testing it, we built a foot and a prosthetic socket that I could fit on my finger. to give an idea that we can make a leg for any child. Our youngest patient right now is 18 months old. And we have a lot of children that have grown up with the leg. Kind of our poster child, Andy in Honduras, started with me. He was 11 or 12 months old. We built a leg for him, and now he is 9 years old, and he runs as fast as the rest of the kids, and it's just it's an amazing thing.
Well, while we're talking about kids, I think it's time to introduce our friend over here.
It is. Well, I was in Antigua, Guatemala, and I found this beautiful little leather bear, and I purchased it, and I started thinking, you know, there's a lot of kids out there that lose their legs, and they don't have any reference. And so I thought, I'm going to take Teddy, and I'm going to amputate his leg, and this also proves how small that I can build a prosthetic leg. Teddy has a prosthetic leg, and since he started traveling with us, we had to make a backpack for him to carry his stuff along. Of course,
right.
And Teddy now has been to Vietnam, Cambodia, he's been to Guatemala, El Salvador, and we bring him with us for the kids, and we've got pretty close with Teddy. I have some pictures of Max on our last flight, sleeping with Teddy, holding him in his arms. And so he's been a really positive thing for us, and we're going to continue to use him in our podcast.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. All right, well, looking back at Ukraine, talk about some of the partnerships that you've had to develop or, you know, to make this trip even a possibility.
So we're working on that now. We're working with an organization, Ukraine Focus, I think is the organization, their name. And they've been supplying ambulances and doing some hospital work. And they're also working with an organization that is 3D printing sockets. And so they reached out to us because the cost of commercial componentry is so expensive. We have, within a couple of days, I developed a connector where we can connect the lower section of a Hope to Walk leg to a commercial 3D printed leg, which will reduce the cost. It'll speed the process up. And so they're very interested in working with that and also teaching their prosthetists to use this leg, which will increase the numbers of legs they can put on. Max and I put 5 or 6 legs a day on, just the 2 of us.
Wow. Are there any special modifications that you need to make for Ukraine, as far as, you know, some of those being victims of war versus some of the other amputations that you've had to navigate?
Not really. In the kit form, I can build a leg for just about anyone. We see a lot of birth defects, a lot of weird deformities, and we're able to adapt to whatever that is.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get you back on stage later.
Okay.
For now, though, we are still at $1,900. So, folks here, you're not off the hook all because you're here, okay? We expect some donations coming in, all right? So use the QR code. Go to hopetowalk.org. Those who are tuning in online, we hope you will do the same. Their goal is to raise $15,000 so they can go to Ukraine in May in order to help some of the 100,000 amputees from the Russian invasion. So, with that, hang over here for 1 second. For Buzz Live, what we try to do is provide a musical guest, all right, who can come and, you know, that's affiliated with a nonprofit. As we segue to our next guest, I want to introduce our musical guest. And tonight, actually last month, there was another Blacksburg church, Blacksburg United Methodist, hosted a Ukraine Sunday service. And the choir at Blacksburg United Methodist learned and performed a really powerful Ukrainian anthem, which is translated on screen. They're allowing us to share that video with our audience here tonight, and so I hope you will enjoy. All right, and many thanks again to Blacksburg United Methodist Church for participating in our event Buzz Live here tonight in support of Hope to Walk. Now, as incredible as Phil and Max are in Hope to Walk in their work, it would be impossible to do all that they seek to do without the great help of volunteers. And one of their main sources of volunteers is Virginia Tech. And the leader of that group at Virginia Tech, the Hope to Walk at Virginia Tech Club, is its president, Eliza Agee. Eliza, come on up. Welcome. Thank you. Grab a seat. Watch the leg. All right. Awesome. Eliza, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for all that you do for Hope to Walk. Well, first of all, tell everyone here a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what year you are at Virginia Tech, and how you got connected with Hope to Walk.
Well, as you said, my name is Eliza, and I'm a senior at Virginia Tech. I'm currently studying human nutrition, foods and exercise, minoring in public health and psychology. So I'll be graduating in just a very short month, but I'll be going to Virginia Commonwealth University for my doctorate in physical therapy.
Awesome.
So graduating in 2028, but then a little bit more about me. I'm from Northern Virginia, right near Dulles Airport, but I heard about Hope to Walk through one of my peers at Virginia Tech, and we're in another club together, and she came with me with the idea of just like starting a new club based off of some group she had heard about down in Christiansburg. I'm like, tell me a little bit more about this. So soon enough, I met Phil, and then I met some of the other members of Hope to Walk, and ever since then, we kind of just been chipping away at the block of, getting it on campus, making it an actual registered student org, and now just recruiting new members and ensuring that it'll be here for a long time.
Nice. So not only are you the president, you're the founder.
Yes.
Bravo.
Yes.
Bravo. Well done. That deserves some applause, right?
Thank you.
Well, so talk about what are some of the things that the club does to support Hope to Walk.
Yeah, so our first year began in winter, like January 2024. So this is kind of our 1-year anniversary. So we're still kind of trying to invent the wheel a little bit with how students at Virginia Tech can be most influential and most impactful for Hope to Walk. So this semester we've implemented a committee system. So we have one committee working on like media and marketing, hopefully eventually collaborating directly with Max. I know we share a good bit on Instagram back and forth.
Right.
And then we also have a committee working on design of the product. So we have some biomedical engineering students that are kind of working with some of the teams at Hope to Walk, but then are also reducing the price of the overall prosthetic. So we're reaching out to companies trying to get the parts donated at low cost or no cost. And then we have another committee working on kind of creating a starter kit for a Radford University club. So Hope to Walk at Radford. So those are our 3 parts right now.
Nice.
Still very new, still lots of room for improvement, but very proud of where we've gotten.
Well, and you did a fundraising race.
Yes.
This year.
Yes, so Hope to Walk does a 5K every fall, and it's been virtual for the past few years, but this year, since we have the club on campus, we were able to reserve the Virginia Tech 5K route. So we hosted the very first in-person Hope to Walk 5K in the athletic field area, and it was awesome. We had so many people come out. We had some of even the parents of the students come down from their like respective hometowns and just bring support, either physically or financially, and it was really awesome. Yeah.
Bravo. And you've also participated in one of Hope to Walk's mission trips to Guatemala, I believe in the fall.
We did it this past August.
Okay, all right. So I believe we have some video of that. Rob, take it away.
Could have never expected that. My name is Eliza Agee. We have arrived a few days ago in the highlands of Guatemala to work with Hope to Walk to put legs on people and help them walk again. I'm so excited. Guatemala has been nothing like I've ever experienced before. I'm really excited that we're able to give back to these different communities in so many different ways and like just try different things and see the true impact of what we're doing day to day. And I'll be back because this cause is worth it. For everyone watching this video, we just want to tell them that this is real and it's tangible, you're able to come and you're able to be in the clinic and build a leg. So this cause, like the money that you donate right now will buy the materials that I put on someone's leg today. We can try everywhere until there's no amputees left because everyone's walking. Built a leg.
All right. Yes. Eliza Agee, president of the Hope to Walk at Virginia Tech Club. What is the most surprising thing that you have learned either about the club, the world, yourself, by being part of Hope to Walk?
I think the thing that really surprised me the most is that the materials that they use on the leg are like everyday products. Like they use like wood that you would go down to Home Depot and get some wood or wherever it's the cheapest. Or I know Laurel has been asking me like, oh, like, do you know anyone that has a contact for this product? And it's crazy to think that we have it so accessible here, but it's such a valuable product in these other countries that don't have as great of access. So it really does put myself, like it puts me in perspective as well. And I'm able to say really grateful for what I have.
Mm-hmm. What do you want people most to know about Hope to Walk? You know, like somebody you meet in the street, and then why should they care?
I think they should care because this product is so unique and there truly is nothing I've seen that's like it. And going kind of into my future field of physical therapy, like mobility is always so important. That's like kind of what I strived to put in my future, and that's why I chose physical therapy. And so this product really gives the gift of mobility and the gift of walking and being able to be mobile and be, you know, an active person. It's not just running, it's not just playing soccer, but you're able to stand and cook your favorite meal. Yeah. You're able to be autonomous and be independent. And I think independence is what leads to happiness in life, and being able to do the things you want to do without someone telling you no. And so this product, this like really unique, very inexpensive product, can truly change someone's life. And it's like, I think Phyllis said this before, but it's like we have like a cure like for this crazy disease. Why isn't everyone just like supporting us and, you know, curing the disease of amputation? Yeah.
It's not just hope to walk, it's hope to cook. Like you said, it's hope to work, it's hope to drive. And that y'all have some wonderful videos of that I would encourage everyone to go online and watch their videos of, you know, someone who, you know, if you don't have a leg, you can't press the accelerator, can't press the brake, you can't drive. And so these are so many skills that, you know, you lose when you don't have a limb. So you've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but was it the desire to become a physical therapist that led you to Hope to Walk, or did Hope to Walk somehow inspire a career in physical therapy, or some of both, or what is it?
Definitely some of both. I think, as I was saying before, mobility is so important to me, and growing up playing sports, and I played soccer primarily, and then, you know, when I had little injuries here and there, it was so detrimental to my life, and that's when I knew I was going to go down this path, and so Hope to Walk just fits so well into that mold. And so now I can only dream of the future collaboration that I hope to have with Hope to Walk as a physical therapist. Phil said this earlier, but the amputees that get this product, it's kind of unfortunate, but, you know, the day you see them is most likely the last day you'll see them, but, you know, hopefully, you know, who knows where my future will bring me, but, you know, in Guatemala one day, hopefully I could tell them to come back the next day, and we'll do some basic exercises to set them up for success, to prevent further injury, and just ensure that they're using their prosthetic properly.
Wonderful. Eliza Agee, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's have some applause. All right. Quick little fundraising update. We were up to $2,650. All right, so let's please keep them coming. All right, go to hopetowalk.org. Click on the QR code, and I believe that link is also available on our live stream. So Hope to Walk, please. Let's see some more donations come in before our time is up. Thank you so much. Hey, sit tight for a second. Time for another little musical guest, and this time again we want to thank Blacksburg United Methodist Church, because part of their Ukraine Sunday service, they had two sisters from Ukraine who actually live here in Blacksburg who performed a song. Now, unfortunately, I was unable to connect with them to have them here in person, nor was I able to find a translation of the lyrics of the song that they sang. However, music is an international language, and so I'm sure that we could all put our own lyrics into this beautiful song that they perform here, and I'm pleased to present it for you here tonight. Rob. All right. Yep. Many thanks again to Blacksburg United Methodist for being part of our Buzz Live event tonight, helping Hope to Walk. And we are coming to near the close of our show. Phil, how about you come back up here if you would, please? Max, if you'd like to join, come on as well. Thank y'all. All right, so again, encourage people to please go online, hopetowalk.org, go over the QR code, and make a donation to support Hope to Walk's trip in May to Ukraine, where they're trying to raise $15,000 in order to provide prosthetic legs, the Hope to Walk prosthetic legs, for some of the 100,000 amputees who've been suffered from the Russian invasion. As we kind of, like I said, coming to the close here, this whole, what to do about Ukraine has become, unfortunately, a pretty hot button political issue here in our country. Have you gotten any pushback from people as you've talked about, wanting to go to Ukraine to help the people there, in your conversations?
I won't really say pushback, but I've had, people naturally being concerned about our safety.
Sure.
Because it is a war zone. But the need is such that whatever it takes, whatever has to happen, however we have to navigate this to get people in legs, children, the people of Ukraine, is what we want to do.
Yeah. Max, have you had any experiences with people questioning why we need to do anything at all in Ukraine?
I think I'm from Haiti, and there has been many disasters back in Haiti also.
Sure.
The earthquake, and now in times of wars, I think it's important to respond to the needs as soon as possible as well, because if not, this will take on years, and someone can lose their life by the time it's done. So at the end, it's just being good citizens and trying to do our best for anyone around.
Yeah. Well, I know I've been personally touched by the work that you do, and not only in Central America, where my daughter was a missionary for a couple of years, but then when I heard about your trip to Ukraine, I wanted to be part of it, because I, as an American, have been so dismayed by what has been happening in that country over the last 3 years, and felt somewhat powerless to be able to do anything about it. And then this opportunity presented itself. It's like, okay, I live thousands of miles away from Ukraine. I live in relative peace and prosperity, but have still just felt so, dismayed, disappointed, hurt, by what all has been happening there. That how can we help? And this has been a great opportunity to do that. So I hope that everyone here feels that same inspiration to support the great work that you guys are doing, because regardless of what you think about the politics or the governments or whatever, there are still people who have greatly suffered over the last 3 years in Ukraine. And
The reality of war, too, is that when we think of war, we think about military people fighting each other. We don't think about the repercussions of the innocent and the children who have no desire to be in war, to be a part of this in any way, and their lives have been affected. And so if we can do a small part to help the people of Ukraine, train them to do what we do, support them in what we do and what they can do to, as you saw in the first video, the need is huge. And so every little piece helps.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Here's your last chance, all right? Your big pitch.
Okay.
To, everyone here is tuning in, to get them inspired to support the work that you're doing. What is it?
Well, imagine that $1 that you give, or whatever amount of money that you give, potentially someone will be walking, whether it's in Central America, Ukraine, wherever around the world. And the need is huge. And we are so blessed in this country. We're so blessed with things that we take so for granted. And so I just reach out to people and say, give anything that you can give, be a part of Hope to Walk, look at our videos, respond to the things that we do, any way that you can possibly come and be a part of this family. I want Hope to Walk to be known as a family of people who care. And so when we donate, also, I say, you're becoming a part of this family that will help people around the world walk.
Yes.
And so be a part of this family. Donate, help us, please.
Awesome. Yes. All right, well, if you're here tonight in person, if you're tuning into our live stream, if you're watching our live stream later, if you're watching this on PBS when it comes out in a month or so, please go to hopetowalk.org, make a donation. They're still going to be needing the money as we try to get to May, time for them to go on their trip. So please continue to donate and support them, not only for this campaign, but campaigns to come, because Ukraine's just one stop on your international trek to try to help people who have lost a limb. So thank you so much. We're going to close it out with one final video that shows a really lovely kind of 2024 highlights of all that you accomplished last year, and then as we look to all that you're going to do again for this year. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Check out this one last video and continue to support Hope to Walk. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This year, we celebrate a milestone that fills our hearts with gratitude and hope. 10 years of walking alongside those who needed us most. 10 years of Hope to Walk. In the past decade, Hope to Walk has served over 2,500 people across the globe. Each life touched, each step taken, made possible through your kindness and generosity. These moments from hope to action remind us why we started, to restore mobility, dignity, and independence to those who need it most. But we're not stopping here. In the next 5 years, our goal is bold: to serve 2,500 people every single year. To do in 1 year what took us 10, together we can make this happen. None of this would be possible without you. Your donations, your time, your belief in our mission. It's the heartbeat of Hope to Walk. Together, we're building a future where no one is left behind. As we celebrate 10 years of hope, you can be a part of our dreams and the dreams of amputees around the world who dream of someday walking again. And that's what Hope to Walk does. And with your donations, your help, your support, we can continue to go around the world and provide legs to the poorest people in the world.
We ask you to support us, be with us, pray for us, and thank you for everything you do.